You asked for an in-depth report of all Ohio government actions for December 27, 2025, focusing on major government actions, legislative activities, enforcement actions, and public events with dates, agencies, officials, and key provisions. The available, citable reporting and official posts for that date are limited. Below I summarize the verifiable actions and notable items published or dated December 27, 2025, and indicate gaps where no authoritative reporting was found. Each factual sentence is followed by its source citation. Direct answer 1-2 sentences. On December 27, 2025, the most significant documented Ohio government items published or reviewed in the news and official channels were 1. Retrospective coverage of 2025 legislative changes, notably marijuana hemp reforms, and 2. Continuing dissemination of earlier December executive orders and budget developments. There is no comprehensive single government action log for that date in the sources returned by the search results 5463. Many day-specific enforcement actions or public events on December 27 were not found in the return sources. Where the sources report actions, I cite them below 5463. Essential context and supporting details. 1. Executive orders and related state executive actions, context and items active posted in December 2025. Governor DeWine signed an executive order to provide emergency food assistance related to a federal SNAP disruption. The executive order makes up to $25 available to support Ohio families and directs the Ohio Department of Job and Family Services to distribute emergency funds and food bank support, including $7 to food banks and $18 in emergency relief to affected residents for 1. The governor's official site lists multiple executive orders issued in December 2025, including emergency administrative rule amendments for the Bureau of Workers' Compensation, Executive Order 2025-09D, amending Rule 41-2360, 8 of the Ohio Administrative Code, that were announced earlier in December and remain part of the month's Executive Action 6. 2. Legislative activity and budget matters reported in late December 2025. News outlets reported that Gov. DeWine faced a December deadline to sign Ohio's roughly $60 2-year operating budget, which contains major items such as a proposed flat income tax rate, 2.75% for individuals above a threshold, changes affecting property tax school funding, library funding cuts, $25, and a $600 allocation for a new Cleveland Browns stadium funded via unclaimed state funds. The coverage focused on the budget's provisions and the governor's line item veto power as of the late December timeline 3. National press reported that Gov. DeWine signed legislation removing Ohio's 4-day grace period for late-arriving mail-in absentee ballots, SB 293, or similar election law changes. That signing and its implications were widely reported in late December 2025 too. 3. Legislative year in review and policy changes, summarized on December 27, 2025. A December 27, 2025 year in review article summarized major 2025 changes enacted by Ohio lawmakers to marijuana and hemp law and regulatory frameworks. The piece is a retrospective summarizing actions during 2025 rather than a new law enacted that day 5. 4. Enforcement actions and day-specific enforcement reports. The search results returned do not include any itemized enforcement actions, e.g., indictments, regulatory enforcement orders, law enforcement raids, administrative penalties, specifically dated December 27, 2025, in Ohio that are reported in the provided sources. No direct citationable enforcement action for that specific date appears in the returned results. This absence may reflect limited coverage in the provided search results rather than a true lack of any enforcement actions statewide on that date. 5. Public events, press briefings, and official appearances on December 27, 2025. The specific search results do not show state agency press conferences, public events, or official appearances dated December 27, 2025 that can be cited from the provided list. The governor's office and news outlets were publishing related items through December, but a discrete December 27 press event or public meeting documented in these sources was not present in the returned results 463. Limitations, gaps, and recommended next steps. Coverage limitations. The search results returned a mix of items from December, executive orders and news summaries, and retrospective pieces dated December 27, year in review, but they do not constitute a complete, minute-by-minute log of all Ohio government actions on December 27, 2025 5463. Where the sources describe actions, I cited them directly. Where no source was found for a requested item, for example, day-specific enforcement actions or public events on deck 27, I have explicitly noted that absence. To produce a truly comprehensive, authoritative, all actions on deck 27, 2025 report, I recommend these follow-up steps. Consult the official Ohio State Agency's newsrooms and daily press release pages for December 27, 2025. Governor's Office, Attorney General, Ohio Department of Public Safety, Ohio Department of Health, Ohio Department of Job and Family Services, Bureau of Workers' Compensation, Ohio General Assembly Session Committee calendars. Check county and municipal official sites and sheriff municipal police press logs for enforcement actions that may not appear in statewide press coverage. Search local Ohio news outlets' archives for December 27, 2025, city papers, TV station newsrooms, for day-specific event reports or enforcement items. If you want, I can run targeted searches of agency press releases and legislative calendars for DEC 27, 2025, and compile a more exhaustive list with direct agency citations. If you want a narrower focus, for example, just executive branch actions on DEC 27, 2025, or all published press releases from the Governor's Office for that date, tell me which category and I will retrieve and synthesize agency primary sources for that day.